YouTube. It's Christine with Souls Rising, jumping on with some Oracle messages. This video is for the sign of Aquarius. So if you have Aquarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising, stick around for your messages. I'm going to start with the Oracle cards and then we'll jump over to the Tarot just to get a little bit more depth and detail. So let's get started. These are collective messages, so of course, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. And these are timeless, so whenever this video makes its way to you, that is the time for you to hear the message. It does not matter if it is not at the time that it is posted or recorded. All right, Aquarius, let's jump into your messages. The first card I got was Joy. Great way to start a reading, right? Hummingbird Spirit. And then right after that, we have another fantastic card, Secret Spring Success. Okay. And then right behind those two, I got Willow Spirit Flexibility. Okay. And I actually heard that right now for my Aquarius, you need to be flexible in your approach, and that is actually what is going to bring in joy and success. So the key right now to finding joy and success lies in your ability to be flexible and to remain flexible. So it's important for you guys, I'm hearing not to fight what is. Do not be fighting the flow of things right now. Really lean into the flow. You want to bend, not break. That is going to ultimately open up some really good energy for you and lead you to some better things, I am being told. So underneath of those, we then got Daffodil Fairy New Beginnings. Okay. And then the next card actually came out crossing that, and that is the card of Standing Stones Passage. Okay. And when cards come out on the side like that, for me, that's transitional energy, meaning that there's energy moving in or moving out. And I actually got with this that you are in a phase where you're moving through a transitional period and there is new energy that is trying to come in. But if you block it by being rigid or really glued to, your stance on something, that isn't going to allow this new beginning to really anchor itself in. So if you are too stuck in the past or the ways of the past, that's actually going to block some things for you guys right now. You really have to be open to what is. Okay, really be open to what is, whatever that might be. So the present energy might feel a little challenging or a little difficult for my Aquariuses out there. Even though we have joy and success here, I feel like some of you aren't really feeling joyful or successful. And that might actually be a sign that you aren't able to see it yet. And you need to just open up a little bit more and relax a little bit more to allow that energy to really move in for you. Okay, let's pull some tarot and just find out more about what this is about. Okay, Aquarius, so some of you might be blocking this new beginning or almost not allowing it to come in right now. And I'm getting some of you are feeling a little conflictual. It's almost like you may or may not even know how to feel about what's happening right now around you or in your life. We have the Five of Wands, again, coming out transitional. So I do feel like this is inner conflict or conflict within yourself. And then we have Queen of Cups, which is, she's all in her feels. Okay. And also if you see the figure on this card, like, it's almost like there's this sense of like I don't know which way this is gonna go. I can't quite see it yet. I don't know how to feel about this situation. So there's that sense of like, I don't quite know how I should feel about things, and I'm not certain of this yet. So this new energy is coming in. There may be a lack of trust around it. And I get that some of you aren't sure where it's leading yet. And the next card was actually the Five of Swords in reverse. And that was followed by the King of Wands. I actually feel like this is relating to past situations. With that card showing up in the reverse, I actually feel like this is something maybe in the past where you had a new beginning and it didn't quite work out the way that you were anticipating, or things kind of went sideways on you. And so there's a little bit of anticipatory anxiety with this. And some of you, this may be causing you to be a little bit rigid or almost not accepting of new things that are trying to come into your life right now. It's almost like you just don't totally trust them, or you're a little suspicious, or just not sure how to feel about it yet. It's almost like you want to see things become a little bit more solidified, and that may be causing you to take a bit of a rigid stance. Unfortunately, I feel like for some of my Aquariuses, this is keeping you a little stuck in the old cycle or in the old energy, almost like you're not totally able to transition out of it. And the next cards that came out, we have the Eight of Wands, which is like incoming energy. Can also be messages, emails, phone calls, those kinds of things. And then we have the Hanged Man, which can be a feeling of stuck or in suspension, which actually is kind of how I feel like it is for most of my Aquarius, is sort of this feeling of feeling suspended between the old and the new. Okay, so you know it's time to move on from one thing, but you aren't really totally certain of this new thing yet, or maybe you can't even see it just yet. And so you're just sort of hanging in between. And then we have Eight of Cups, which is like walking away and moving on. I feel some of you are not walking away or moving on from a past situation, and maybe in part because you're a little sore that something didn't turn out the way you wanted it to, or almost like you're still waiting for something to turn out a certain way. And so you're almost just keeping yourself in this state of suspended animation rather than really moving forward into the new thing. So some of you may be feeling frustrated with the lack of movement, but also not realizing that you are causing it, that you're actually delaying this from moving in. And what we got, with the Oracle cards was this need to be flexible right now and not rigid. So if you're really stuck around something from the past and you're being sort of stubborn about it or sort of rigid about it, like this has to be this way or this has to happen for me, that could be what's really blocking you right now. Let's get a little bit more information about that. Spirit, can you help clarify a little bit more about this? What do my Aquariuses need to be more flexible about? Where is the flexibility needed, Spirit? All right, so I'll show you the cards and I'll talk a little bit about what I'm getting from it. So the first card came out is King of Pentacles. Okay. So this may have to do with career or resources in particular. The King of Pentacles is a grounded energy. It's very much to do with like earthly resources. Can represent like house and home, finances. Then we have the Nine of Swords, which is like stress, pain, anxiety, stressing out. And then we have King of Swords. I actually feel like this King of Swords is representing an ending or a decision to end something that maybe was made. And perhaps this wasn't something you were in alignment with. Maybe an ending happened and it wasn't your choice. Maybe for some of you and not all. Then we have Four of Swords. And I hear put it to bed. Okay, put it to bed. Something needs to be put to bed or needed to be put to bed, and maybe it was. Especially coming out right after that King of Swords. Now, when I asked for a little bit more clarity on that, I got the Seven of Pentacles, followed by the Knight of Pentacles. And I really felt like this was, whatever this was that like maybe didn't work out or came to a close for you, was something that you had invested quite a bit of your effort and energy in. You were maybe like really hopeful that it was going to turn out a different way. And some of you might have thought that this thing was going to be your ticket to success or your ticket to more financial stability, only to find out that it just wasn't, or it just did not pan out or work out the way that you had hoped. Some of you may have lost money with this too. Maybe you invested in something and then it just didn't work out. Maybe you had a business idea and you started like putting some, cash up front on something and then it crashed and burned on you. But there's a little bit of disillusionment I'm hearing with whatever this was. And some of you are really having a hard time moving on from it. I feel like some of my Aquarius are just really stuck, and it's like you're in this energy right now and mourning and just not able to like see the path forward, or you feel like stuck. Okay. Let's get a little bit more information here. Again, I don't feel like this is something you chose. This doesn't feel like an ending that you chose. It feels like something maybe that didn't work out or ended like against your will, or maybe someone else decided it for you. Which is sometimes can make us feel powerless, right? Like again, that hanged man energy of feeling like I didn't choose this, this is not what I want, and God, please make it right. Maybe some of you want justice too for this, whatever it was. Maybe you're waiting for somebody to make something right, or for the universe to make it up to you in some way. No, ultimately that it will be, but that need for that right now, you might have to detach a little from that, because the need for it could be keeping you in that state of suspended animation right now, Aquarius. So if that's you, be willing to move on for now without it and see what happens. Okay, because sometimes justice does come, but not always in the form that we want it to, or it comes, but it comes down the road, not always right away. So sometimes we have to wait for it. Ultimately, karma is always served, right? And in this life or the next. But you don't want to be hung up waiting for something to go your way. If it's just not going to, that just ties up your energy. So what else do my Aquariuses need to know right now, Spirit? Okay. You guys need to be open to a new path. That's kind of what I was getting anyway. There needs to be receptivity and openness to this new path that is trying to manifest for you, that is trying to come in. You really need openness to the new right now. And I'll show you the cards in a minute. I'm just pulling a couple more for you. Yeah, you're like pissed about whatever this is that came down, and it's really tying you up. And maybe you think you've moved on, like maybe it looks on the surface like you've moved on, but emotionally you're still really stuck in the past. Okay, because sometimes we do that, right? Sometimes we move on the surface of things, like we physically move on, new job, new person, whatever, new partnership. But emotionally, we're still kind of like looking back, or we're still stuck a little bit anchored in something that happened in the past. Maybe we haven't totally grieved it, or we haven't just totally let it go. We might be angry about it. And I get my Aquariuses are kind of pissed off about this. Okay, whatever this was, I feel like irritation, upset. So the first one that came out is the Empress, that receptive energy, right? Receiving from the universe, being open. This is also the openness to receive, really being in that yin energy, followed by Page of Cups, which is receiving new opportunities showing up on the scene, this new energy starting to filter in. And then Two of Wands, which is choosing your path or planning the next phase of the journey. I really get this is like the new path showing up here, and it's like you just really needing to allow it to happen, to be willing to move in a new direction that is maybe not what you planned on, but know that ultimately it can bring joy and success. That's why we had the Hummingbird Spirit and the Secret Spring, the joy and success cards coming out. I'll show them to you again. That's why we had these coming out first, with flexibility. If you can flex and allow the new plan to come in and be more at ease with it, you will find joy and success can open up for you again. Ultimately, it's like you get what you want, but not in the way that you wanted to get it, or not the way you thought you were going to get it, or thought you wanted it to happen. If that makes sense. And underneath these, we have the Tower. This is what came down. I feel like this already happened, though. I feel like whatever this, where it's in process right now, right, for some of you. So this feels like something from the past coming down, crashing down around you, feeling like your world's falling apart, right? I'm getting shown like that. You know, when you guys remember that old computer game, like Chicken Little, like the sky is falling, the sky is falling. That's the energy I get with this. Literally, like the sky is gonna fall in. And then we have the Devil. This is a shadow. This was shadow energy. I also get anger with this, okay? And it was followed by the Knight of Swords. And if you look at this Knight of Swords, he is pissed this T is like a railing, okay? Knight of Swords is also a fast-moving energy. So this may have happened quickly, like a crash and burn kind of scenario. And so some of you might have just not even been able to process this loss. You know, it happened so quickly that you just were sort of dumbfounded or shocked by it. You didn't see it coming. And so you might have just really been caught off guard. And maybe that is what is holding things back or sort of preventing you from being able to fully like move forward right now. So Spirit, what's going to help right now? What's going to help my Aquariuses to get to the other side of this situation? Okay. So the answer is pretty simple. Ultimately, this is about processing your emotions. So some of you might have just not had time to process your feelings, like because this unfolded very quickly, or maybe you just had to jump into like stability mode, like trying to like manage something, put band-aids on a problem, quick fix it, rescue it. Just getting your bearings about you again after this happens. And so you didn't maybe fully get to process the feelings you had about something, and then you were boop, moving forward from it, but not really. For others of you, the feelings are just really in the way. They're what is causing this rigid stance or this rigid holding on, because there's just anger and unhealed feelings about this. And you really need to get into your feels with this King of Cups. This is, you need to master your feelings. You need to get a handle on this, on the emotions you have around this situation, because that's going to be the key to freeing yourself up to truly move on. Because the very next card we have is the World, which is cycle completion. That's how you're going to close this out. Okay, you have to process your feelings about whatever this was that came to an end. I feel an abrupt end. It's time to really truly close it out so you can move on. And literally moving on, the next card is Chariot, moving forward, moving on, leaving it behind. It's like there's nothing left there for you anymore. It's time to, you know, get on your horse again, get back on the horse again and move on. And that means you might have to like let go of something. You might have to let go of something you were waiting for or expecting or hoping would happen. For some of you, that may be moving on without that justice that I was mentioning that you feel you're owed. Maybe some of you it's money. Some of you might actually be waiting like to receive money back from something. Maybe somebody owes you money and you need to just like write it off as a loss and move forward and free yourself up from it. Okay. And then we have Two of Swords. And again, this is what you're moving on from. Moving on from feeling stuck. Because right now you're standing still. Same with that Hanged Man energy. It's like she has two swords. She could swing one and free herself, but instead she's just staying put and in this indecisive place, this stuck and not moving. And with this card, you know, she's blindfolded. And this is refusing to see that it's time to free herself. It's time to move on. If she would realize that it's time to move on, then she could pick a sword and just get on with it already. And I feel like that's what my Aquariuses really need to do right now. And once you do, Aquarius, there's 9 of Pentacles. So there is, again, success coming in on the other side of this, independence. You're going to be free from the situation finally. But also, this is a card of contentment, of not just like emotional contentment, but financial contentment too. So don't worry, like if there was finances involved in this and you kind of feel like you got burned, I feel like if you can really let go and move forward and really and truly like resolve, like release the feelings you have about it and forgive and move on, that actually there's a better financial situation ahead for you. It's almost like the universe will reward this forward movement with something better. And that's why we have joy and success showing up too, right? You guys need to break free from this, but ultimately I feel like it's you are freeing yourself from that. And maybe that's what's got you stuck, is you're waiting for something else to change, not realizing that it's you needing to be more flexible and adaptive to the situation that's actually going to bring the change about. You know, that's what's going to help you move into the new beginning. This is you walking through the portal into the new beginning by your choice, by being adaptable and flexible and releasing what's been holding you back, Aquarius. Okay, so let's just get one more card. Seven of Swords. Now, Seven of Swords can be betrayal, so some of you might feel betrayed, and maybe that's what's making this hard. But I don't think that's for everybody. I think the main interpretation I'm getting from this card is Seven of Swords is like recognizing that something's a lost cause and moving on, right? Picking up what you still have left and letting go of what is on fucking fire and burning away. Because you can't change it. You can't save it. She knows she can't save this camp. She can't save it. So it's time to cut her losses and move out and move on from it. And I feel like that's what a lot of you have to do right now. It's like cutting your losses so you can move on. And then we have the moon. The moon, it's emotional. There's just all this emotional energy. Look, this wolf is just standing there looking at this devastation like, I don't know what to do. It's like a tidal wave came through your life and washed all this stuff out, and you're just stuck looking at the wreckage and not sure what to do next, and you're just waiting for something, but there's nothing left here, right? That's why we have to move forward. We have to move on. What happens when Aquarius moves on, Spirit? What happens when my Aquariuses move forward? Then things come into balance and you find emotional peace, okay? You're gonna come into a space of peace, feeling more at ease and more at peace with the situation, and everything's gonna balance out, okay? Again, this is that karmic return I was picking up on. So that sense of maybe you didn't get justice or something wasn't fair. Trust the universe to rectify that. I feel like when you guys cut the cord and you really are flexible and adaptive and move forward, you're actually gonna open the door for things to be made right or things to come back into a space of harmony and balance for yourselves. So don't be afraid to really look at what you're feeling and what's really been making it hard for you to move forward, and be ready to release what is a lost cause now, recognize what is no longer working, or what is not going to come back to you, what is not going to go the way that you had hoped, because that will free you and allow you to come back into that state of harmony and balance. And when you come into that space internally, emotionally, then the external can come into alignment and balance too. And you guys have some really great things, I feel, on the other side of that, trying to move in for you, this new beginning that is ready to anchor in, and it's just waiting for you to be ready too. So try to be a little bit more open and flexible to moving forward, and that means sometimes just sort of closing the door on something that didn't work out before in the past. All right, Aquarius, those are your messages. I hope they find you well, and I will be back in a few weeks with some more Oracle messages. Bye.